This week in AI, one of Silicon Valley's most plugged in investors just gave the most pointed verdict yet on Elon Musk's AI empire. LinkedIn co founder Reid Hoffman, who sits on the cap tables of both Anthropic and OpenAI, went on the Pioneers of AI podcast and unloaded on Musk's AI ventures in unusually blunt terms, calling xAI a disaster and saying SpaceX is, quote, not an AI company. The timing landed 12 days after SpaceX's IPO, with AI central to the pitch. I'm Joshua. Let's get into it. Hoffman went after xAI first, and the receipts back him up. By May of 2026, all 11 of xAI's original co founders had departed the company. That's every single one, a cascade that began in February when Tony Wu, one of the most operationally central founders, resigned. Musk restructured the teams in response. The departures continued. Hoffman's read, in his words, xAI is on its third restart. Its Grok models have lagged Anthropic and OpenAI on benchmarks through 2026. He described Musk's own framing as, quote, a complete train wreck for its kind of building of foundational models. Then he turned to SpaceX, and the framing was even sharper. Hoffman said SpaceX isn't an AI company at all. He called it, quote, a premium priced CoreWeave, and compared the strategy to Barry Diller's IAC, the serial acquisition roll-up from the early internet era. Use the market cap, he said, to buy AI companies and try to buy your way into relevance. SpaceX had just acquired Cursor, the coding tool, days after its IPO. Hoffman pointed at that deal and said it wasn't proof of AI capability, but evidence of its absence. On Cursor specifically, he went further. Cursor seems to have had its bright star some number of months ago and seems to be fading over the horizon, he said, as Claude Code and Codex close in. Then he pivoted to the regulatory fight nobody is talking about cleanly. The US government forced Anthropic to pull its Fable and Mythos models on June 11th, an export control order triggered when Amazon CEO Andy Jassy flagged a jailbreak in Fable 5. Cybersecurity experts called the response disproportionate. Hoffman's framing was stronger. He called the approach, quote, autocratic willy-nilly and, quote, very suboptimum, and warned that the asymmetry, Anthropic penalized while OpenAI was not, creates a new category of investor risk for a company that is expected to file one of the largest IPOs in history. Hoffman is not a neutral observer here. He is an investor in both Anthropic and OpenAI, and he pushed back on the cage match framing. There is, quote, a lot of room for both of them to win incredibly, he said. Anthropic strong in code and expanding into design and legal. OpenAI and ChatGPT functioning more like a consumer search front end, with Codex, in his words, insufficiently talked about. His anchor for the bullish case was the electricity analogy. If AI becomes as pervasive as electricity, OpenAI and Anthropic become two of the primary utilities, and the revenue model does not need to be fully visible today. He closed with career advice aimed squarely at Gen Z, and it cut against the prevailing narrative. Graduate unemployment has risen from 3.6% in 2019 to 5.6% in 2026, and Goldman Sachs's AI tracker now puts net job losses near 16,000 per month. Hoffman's counter, stop booing AI. You guys have the opportunity to be Generation AI, he said, where you come into the workforce saying, I know this a lot better than all of you. Most of the entry level slump, he argued, is being misattributed to AI when it is really pandemic overhiring and remote work confusion. That's the wrap. Sources in the description, Fortune, Yahoo Finance, and Hacker News for the community pull. I'm Joshua. Catch you next week.